15 minutes
there's
later,
days
I've got
I
this other
feel
idea.
like,
And
I've got like,
at that point,
there's
early on
days
today,
I had like
it's
3
like, all right,
jobs.
that's
You know,
perfect.
I've
Now
got like
I know what
3
I'm going to do
songs
tonight. And
coming
then
to
I
my
get
head at the
another
same
idea.
time. I've
And I'm
got like
like,
projects I'm
oh,
working
hold
on. I've
on.
got invention
Because I know how
ideas.
this goes, plays out.
Just like
It's
total
like I'm starting to
bombardment.
write.
Are you happy right here and now, or with what you're doing? And that's, if you're not, then why are you doing it? The purpose of this documentary is to delve into the behind-the-scenes process of being a modern-day musical artist, showing a little bit of the flip side of the pretty music and what it takes to get stuff done, and just a little bit about me as an artist and my creative process.
Art is never finished, complete, or done. A song, a movie, a documentary, it's never finished. You just have to abandon it at some point.
Just need 2 1/4 inches to 1/8 inch chords. Should be good. 2 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch, and 1/4 inch to RCAs. And then I should be good with that. But I need the micro USB to the regular USB and hook up to the I'm Jason Pfaff. I'm a composer, musician, producer, writer, freelancer, entrepreneur, Freemason, father, published poet,
And student of life.
My late sister, Kristen Pfaff, was the former bassist in the band Hole with Courtney Love. And they had a triple platinum album called Live Through This. She was a major influence on me and my music. I have licensed hundreds of songs to film, TV, and advertising, most notably some music in an HBO movie, least notably a French vibrator commercial. Well, maybe that's most notably, I don't know.
And learn how to play by ear, that's how I operate.
There's always a curse at the other side of every gift. Like, I could play music by ear ever since I was a child, but I also remember conversations I've had or others have had near me 20 years ago, from 20 years ago. But I can't look backwards at all because there's a wall of depression ready to swallow me because of the accident and because I lost the ability to just plug into a piano like a plug in the wall, like I had my whole life. I lost that. I lost my partner of 10 years, and we have a child together. At the same time, this, and then COVID. Like, I can't even look backwards. Like, before it was a luxury. I could look back at my life. Now it's like, I have to keep moving forward or I'm fucked. I'm totally fucked. So like, I don't have a choice. I have to keep moving forward, and I have to create. So if I can't make music, I have to try film, I have to try writing or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could make a whole documentary on healing and PTSD and trauma and pain, everything I've been through, but I'm just moving forward and I'm still doing yoga and I'm trying to get this wrist to bend because it was shattered and it doesn't want to bend. So I've got to gradually try to bend this wrist.
Other than the arts, I've had 91 jobs, 35 residencies, 19 vehicles, 8 stereo systems, 5 pianos, 6 drum sets, 8 keyboards, 9 computers, 4 video cameras, 3 smartphones. I've been in 6 bands.
I used to lay inside of my father's bass drum when I was young.
You know, I'm not a millionaire, but I define success as waking up and being really excited about your day. And I have that, so that's success to me.
We all want to think our thoughts have value, but if it's not a dated goal, it's just an idea.
David Lynch calls it the universal idea warehouse, this other dimension where we can all access the same information and ideas and inspiration. And it's like whoever gets there first and takes that nugget of inspiration and manifests something with it. I wrote a song for my 90s indie rock band on guitar. I'm not really a guitar player, but I wrote it in my mom's garage. And it's just 3 notes, but it's a pretty powerful song. It became one of our most popular songs. And a year or 2 later, 2 other big artists had songs with a very similar melody. The same notes, just executed slightly differently. So I think that's interesting to think about the universal idea warehouse and how we probably all were accessing the same idea at the same similar time frame. It was interesting. We came up with it first. I think the point of this documentary is to steer people away from a certain style of creating and to suggest the idea of finishing what you start.
So this is what I put together so you can see how a sketch comes into fruition. So I start with the piano sketch that from my phone.
G sharp, we're gonna kill it. We're gonna make inspiring ones with the.
goes from the scratch to re-listening to that over and over, and then finally playing it on real instrument or the MIDI instruments and the sequencer and making it happen. It's exciting when it happens. We're now tracking Joy. What's your last name?
Meredith.
Is that your artist name?
Oh yeah. No, A.M.
Joy Aya is going to be Aya Joy is going to be recording her debut music as Warm Jets music today. Her limousine broke down on the throughway, so she was a little late. But luckily,
Don't tell anybody.
I'm a nice guy.
Why do we hide her miracles and pride? Does Niagara fall, or does she rise? Does Niagara fall, or does she rise? You know, like, it's your story, but it's like, it's just so relatable, and it's like really timely and poignant, you know? So like,
It's relatable to you, but you're a very creative, passionate person that's also insane. So
true.
do you think the general population it'll be relatable?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It depends on
like
what is
target
the
market is like
focus and
artists and musicians.
Yeah.
And family members. Like this is what
Yeah,
artist
people to
is,
understand artists and musicians, and to recognize that we are all artists and musicians.
No way I could even begin to play like every song or like scratched takes so you get an idea what I'm talking about. But I keep them all in various folders, so I'll just like browse. Okay, so we're gonna add this to this. We're gonna incorporate it into the.
One day you said it's true. Some love holds, some gets used. Tried to tell you that you never knew it could be so sweet. Who could ever be so cruel? Playing the devil for the things you do. Such a selfish way to lose, the way you lose these wasted blues, wasted blues.
Could mean waking up in the middle of the night to write down lyrics. Goth girl. I've got a goth girl that's good to me. She wears fishnets and drinks yogi tea. I got a goth girl who's nice to me. Goth girl. Ba-da-ba. Do karaoke once in a while to keep me sane. Just because you just have to show up with yourself and nothing else. You don't have to bring your wires and your hard drives and your keyboards and your instruments. But now karaoke's closed, which is like a total bummer. How ridiculous of a world is it if you can't even go to karaoke?
I laughed and shook his head.
I'm influenced by and like all kinds of music. It depends on the song. If the song resonates, then I like it. It doesn't matter which genre, or, you know, some people are like, oh, I'm only into punk music, or I like everything but country. I just listen to the song, and if it resonates, I'm in.
drum and bass with the jaguar penis.
But there's so many things to think about too. Like once the internet really hit and labels weren't really interested in bands unless they had 1 million views on YouTube, the artist ends up doing all the work, like managing their discographies and their websites and their band camps and their SoundClouds and their Reverb Nations and their
licensing sites, stock licensing sites, putting their electronic press kits together, their biographies, all their links, artwork, putting that together, CDs, finding mastering people. The list goes on and on of all the tasks to just release an album, and then to market it yourself and learn about e-commerce and the various sites and online stores that you can sell your music on, like Amazon, CD Baby, and then, find sites that sell them for you on all the stores like TuneCore or DistroKid or CD Baby. And so it just gets crazy with the amount of time you're spending online on the internet and losing time for the creative process. It's, that's the best part. So now you're not just a musician, you're an entrepreneur, you're, doing all these multitasking things. And, it's just...
It takes away from the original point of expression where you sit down at a piano or you sit down at a drum kit and you just play what you feel, and that's what it's all about. It's all about that feel in the end and not losing touch with that. The level of productivity that I've engaged in the last decade, I would not have been able to survive if it wasn't for staying balanced by meditating every day, doing yoga, going for hikes, and staying as connected to nature as possible, and really balancing that out. When my grandfather died, he was a businessman. He started from nothing. My family started from nothing and started a trucking company. And when he died, something snapped in me, and that's when I signed up for music business college. And I was just, I was like ready to rock, get things done, and I did.
Funky shit we got going down right now, brothers and sisters. You better stay strong now, you hear me? And do what feels good.
This is my external drive, my Lacey drive. And as you can see, it's got a lot of stuff. And if we just go into one folder, Jason Music, then we have all of this as well to deal with. I mean, I have stuff I never got to, new tracks to upload, and then there's the sessions inside. Just so much work that I never got to, and then I just got lost in all of this digital clutter. And I mean, it's good that I have it. I can find stuff if I need it. A lot of the stuff I probably don't need, but it's good to just know where stuff is and not clutter your computer if you can. That would be my advice.
Melodies and stuff that I've been compiling for decades. It's been concepts for inventions, for business ventures, business ideas. As you can see out my notes here.
Project ideas, festival ideas. Just a million different things. Screenplay ideas, sketch comedy ideas, stand-up comedy ideas, public speaking ideas, book ideas, fundraising ideas. Here's a million melodies, actually. But as you can see, I mean, it's just been file after file, feature film concepts, short film concepts, lyrics concepts, inventions and concepts, skits for Portlandia, writing concepts, blogs, podcast ideas.
Oh, there's my bucket list. So, yeah, it's been really just nuts. And I'm looking forward to it not being nuts. My process has changed. I'm not interested in being a chaotic creator or stockpiling ideas. I also spent about 6.5 years working on a feature film screenplay, science fiction, dark comedy with a co-writer. And it's been an absolute just chaotic mess of a project that just we can't seem to finish. And to have more singleness of purpose, I think, is a very freeing way to live. I always admired people that could just do one thing really well, you know, like just play basketball and be the best at that. Something I experimented with when I started doing more vocal-based songs was really putting an intention into the singing. So for this song that called Closer, that was on my last release, Spaceship Blues, when I was singing, I was imagining I was on a stage with a massive crowd and really trying to like inspire them. So I felt it like in my whole being, and I sang to the audience in my mind. It was fun.
Just can't figure it out. I just can't figure it out. My heart is on fire, sending close and falling. Just can't figure it out. I just can't figure it out. My heart is on fire, sending close and falling. Just can't figure it out. I just can't figure it
Similarly, sometimes when I work with other artists, helping them produce their record, I have them envision something like that. I had a gal envision, as she was singing this song, which I felt like was a kind of an oldie sounding R&B song. Can you imagine while you're singing a ton of people on their drive home from work tuning into the radio and hearing this song? And I think it helped her with the intention of the song. I think it moved it forward in an interesting way.
It's good to save hard copies of things. I've kept some scrapbooks from show stuff, CDs, articles, reviews, fundraisers, show flyers, news articles, statistics. It's good to just be able to look back and see where you've been. I got a lot of stuff to organize in here, actually. That's one of them. I think there's 3, and then there's some pile on the floor.
New Hard, White Stripes, Nine Inch Nails, there's bow, 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 bow. My head is not above water, my head is not above water.
I think one of the biggest tragedies in being an artist type is when you have a ton of energy and passion and you don't know where to put it. It feels like there's nowhere to put it and fuse it into. And then it just kind of rots inside of you and it goes away. And you feel like you missed out on like a big opportunity, or you won't feel that way again or something.
Because it's energy. Passion, emotion is all energy that that needs to move. It needs to be recycled. It needs to move through you and keep flowing. So that's why having outlets is so important, whatever that outlet may be.
Twas great and all my
focus on that one thing and put all of your energy into it, like playing soccer when you were young. You just used all that energy for one focus, one idea, and that was playing soccer. People do it, people pull it off, and even famous presidents, a lot of them did a lot of different things. I think it was Jefferson, he was a lawyer, he was the president, he was a musician, he was a couple other things. So it can be done, it's just annoying in my opinion.
Literally writing my own story at the same time, so I'm like seeing all the parallels with that too, and I understand the manic craziness. I'm obviously
and this is the part of the movie where I go get the Jim Beam and have a nervous breakdown on tape.
To go to the drive-in, roller skating, karaoke. Now we're getting COVID tests.
How you doing?
Hi.
All right, you can just hold up, or actually I'll just get it out here.
Have you done it before? Nope. All right, I'll walk you through it. Not too difficult. Here's the last piece. So first, go ahead and open up the swab. Open up the swab.
And before you know it, I had 6 different email addresses to manage. One was, the mailbox through the website, your Gmail, contact pfaffmusic.com, and then the other ones that just, over the years have piled up. One just music, one multidimensional, published in my name, Yahoo. Then Gmail, because Gmail is supposed to be more secure, so 2 or 3 for personal emails. And then before you know it, you've got 6 email addresses.
You like cornucopias, huh? You like cornucopia? Ooh, cornucopia.
After the 90s, I was done, emotionally, physically, mentally. 1999 was the last year I'd perform and write under my artist name at the time. I really didn't become Jason Pfaff until around the year 2002, 2003. I went through a major transition, which I'm not going to get into. I ended up being really in a bad place, a dark place, a desperate, scary, very unknown state. And it was a piano that brought me back. The key of C brought me back. And I cried and cried. My eyes were stinging. And so during my transition of about 5 years, I had to face the silence. And that was the most challenging thing I've ever done in my life. I figured, it was at least 10 years of kind of living a chaotic life after my sister passed away. And it was so much music crammed in that 10 years. There was always music. We were always listening to music loud. We were always playing loud. I was in a super loud rock band as a drummer. And so what ended up happening, what I realized, which was part of the reason I needed to go through a transition, was because I was way overstimulated. If you imagine your body as like threads, well, mine were just so stimulated, they were like stuck or broken or whatever. And I needed to decompress and let those threads, straighten back out to stillness. And that took a lot of work. I was on a vigorous, holistic path for many years. And I was hardcore about it. I made it a lifestyle. My diet, everything. I was doing a lot of work on myself, spiritually, taking classes, doing yoga, energy classes, Native American sweat lodges. I did a 10-day silent meditation with 50 others. You couldn't talk to any of them for 10 days. A former Denver Bronco gave me a ride to that meditation, and a shaman gave me a ride back. That was interesting. I was like meditating in streams for like 6 hours at a time. I was going to monasteries. I did whatever it took to get myself back, to get a home base within myself. And a lot of that had to do with silence, facing the thoughts I had in my head and the emotions. I was also entirely sober for that period of time, which I'm sure helped. And the first show I played after the transition was the Buffalo Psychiatric Center. I booked it myself. That's like all I could handle at the time, that audience. But my intention really was to help. It was like I was reborn, and my intention now was a composer and performer that was really hardcore, like intending on trying to do the best they could to serve the world with their work and their performances. And so I gave everything I had at the show, thinking I hopefully inspired some of them. And it's funny because this strange woman came up to me after the show, which is not surprising. And she's like,
"Do you feel better?"
That got my wheels turning for a bit. And then this 7-foot-tall guy with like really dark features, dark black hair, wearing like a dark black trench coat. He kind of looked like Jesus. Came up to me and was like, "Yeah, I really like the high notes." He had a really pleasant voice. He seemed super intimidating walking up to him. I also focused on hip hop hip-hop beat making off and on for years and collaborated with Buffalo's infamous Coaches. We did some great work together. I was very inspired by artists like Public Enemy, Beastie Boys, Run DMC, and the mid-90s underground hip-hop and trip-hop scene. I mean, that music was just unreal. Love to get my hands on it.
Managing one's own website and then editing it for cell phone framing is a task, and updating and adding shows and schedules and news updates and links to where music's available and blogs and podcasting and micromanaging a ton of different websites. Even this project is becoming chaotic.
So there's just like a million different things to do in Reason. You go to the mixer here, see this is a collage, wow. And I'm finding all these song clips. And a lot of them came from iTunes, where I put my ideas. They just keep coming and coming. Any genre, just trap the idea when it comes on your phone, mini recorder, studio.
The problem with recording is you get new ideas, and the ones you recorded then become obsolete in a matter of time, and you get more excited about the new ideas. I think in the future, recording should just be obsolete. Everything should be in the moment, improvised. It should all be about living in the moment on art farms with all kinds of creative and theatrical setups. And we should just live in the moment and stop recording things, be in the moment.
So, I had a bit of a midlife crisis a few years ago, an identity crisis as an artist. And I was writing in so many genres, and then I invented the multi-dimensional genre, which is different than multi-dimensional like New Age music. And I invented shepherdcore, which is a kind of mix of electronic music with DJ mashups and rock combined. So for a while, then I did music for Ultra's project, which was kind of my alias for a while.
And that was shepherdcore. And
then I had another alter ego called Brick Oven Johnson, which was an improv bluesy project, and I wrote about 5 songs for that and thought about, what am I going to do? Create a band for this? Am I going to release an album for this? Am I going to have 3 different Bandcamp pages? Things just started to pile up and get so confusing. And then, but I've been releasing stuff under my own name for years. But it started in the 90s as Ribcage. That was my artistic name. And that was total cross-genre stuff, trying to smash genres to pieces. Every song on Ribcage 1 was a different style of music. See, that was before computer music software, so it was more expressive for me to use analog gear and to have less choices and to have one keyboard workstation. I had a Korg 01WFD, and I knew how to use it. I knew how to find the sounds I like. I knew how to use the effects, and I maximized the sequencer, and I really knew what I wanted to do with it.
You know, there weren't infinite choices like with computer software programs. And then what I did is I connected the O1WFD through MIDI to my friend's Insonic ASR10 sampler, which worked out really well. And then I was running that through a Tascam 8-track cassette recorder. And that was a great setup for a while. And I did a couple of Ribcage albums.
And then I was in a band called Pfaff, Blood and Gorman. We were kind of psychedelic rock. And that was fun to collaborate. It's always good to collaborate because it gets very lonely as a, you know, solo artist or producer in a studio alone all the time recording. I mean, it's fun and, you know, I can do it forever and find things to do, but there's nothing like collaborating with others and bouncing off their energy and having a band or, you know, collaborations. So I really endorse that over being a solo artist, especially these days. The more people involved, the better, I think.
It's like, but this is why I feel like it's so potent that you're saying everything is better with other people. It's better to collaborate. And that's why I feel like, you know, even just talking to you about this idea, you know, even just having the conversation is a collaboration. And it's like, well, dude, you don't have to look back by yourself. You can move forward and you can still like there can still be this harvesting of all of this beautiful experience, like rich life experience that you've had up until this point. And it's like, yeah, we're in the midst of a transformation. It's like, well, something else is happening. Like we are moving forward. And
somebody put a duck in my electric fireplace.
I'm not one of those snobs that thinks creativity is exclusive to the arts. It's not. Everything is creative. The way you walk, the way you cook food, the way you eat food, everything is art. And there's no imaginary line that separates creative people from non-creative or famous people from non-famous. Those are all created things that we create and inflate. And I do get paranoid. I get paranoid as an artist that can be outspoken, that speaks his mind and voice on the internet, and is not afraid to hold back sometimes. And maybe in that sense am an activist of sorts. I do get paranoid. But what scares me more than the US government is corporations and the power they have. I am all for the US government. It's the corporations, the one that own the air. Those are the ones I'm worried about. They scare the shit out of me. My name is... be dramatic. You know, I'm not a millionaire, but I define success as waking up and being really excited about your day. But see, there's like a pyramid. You have the monster artists on top, the big, huge artists. Then you have this whole pyramid to work with. So it's not like you're either a millionaire or you're broke as an artist. There's this whole middle ground to work with in the pyramid, and that's where I found kind of my happy medium. And I put a lot of time in to be able to make passive income. I worked my butt off for a couple of years and really researched the licensing industry and the do-it-yourself stock sites, and was lucky enough to get signed to a couple boutique companies. I think equally we all have spiritual challenges and stuff to work out, and depending on our willingness to take that on is how happy we'll find ourselves.
We're coming home. We're coming home.
And putting Buffalo on the map, bluesy melody. Maturity is overrated, can make you faded, so let your soul shine through. Blues riff. Hey, lady, baby, we like to hide for free. Tandem ass bishop on the loose, gonna ride through the Milky Way. Tandem ass bishop on the loose.
We're a society that doesn't particularly live in the moment, and I see a sustainable future, especially in the arts, being more moment-based, more focused on improvisation and the here and now versus recording anything at all. I don't think anything should be recorded. That's my new realization.
He's gonna think his name's Poop. He always takes a sock off. He gets it off with his other foot, so we're gonna call him One Sock.
GoPro on a boomerang. I want to sample that bird in the sky. Let's hope it comes back.
In 2003, had an epiphany that came out of it was that music was my best friend, because it's always there for me, whereas people and circumstances change. And the key of C is always there. It's always the same. It's recognized.
Contest at a weird level to music, which I'm not fond of that, but I could not pass up this contest, and I put some serious time and work into this.
So, in the original song, a melody comes in around 1 minute and 20 seconds. So I worked with that and created a new melody, which became the base of the remix. Piano's a bit out of tune. Don't mind me, I haven't showered in a while. Don't look at me, okay? Now I sampled the guitar stem, one of the guitar stems Daniel and Wah played, and put it into the keyboard. I'm going to do a guitar solo in the dancey part that's coming up. I'm pretty excited. Alright, let's see if I can. At first I thought I might just use the original stems and not add any of my own melodies or instrumentation, but I decided to. So, in the original song, sampling the drum stems. This is the kick drum only. Brian Blade's kit. I'm trying to reassemble a new drum kit on the MIDI keyboard. And I made my own drum kits and reason from those stems. I tried to use as many of the original stems and keep it as organic as possible in the sense of sampling and not just using some generic electronic preset drum kit. So here you hear the really sampled in certain keys, so now I'm literally getting to use Daniel and Juan's drummer in my own way on these keys, which is pretty awesome. Drumstick in one hand and
Maybe I had about 70
guitar pick in the
tracks
other.
and
I got this cool
100
sitar
processors
kind of sound.
for effects.
And I'm gonna look and try to beef it up a little bit with an effect.
Very fun. I tried to balance out the heart versus the technicality, and I don't like spending hours at a computer, but I wanted this to kind of reflect a combination of everything. The heart, body, soul, body. There's no body.
I'm back.
Naked bodies. And
You won't be able to hear the sound because
I should
I'm
have
having
naked
problems
people
with my
in this video. I'd
interface.
probably get a lot more viewers.
But I just wanted to show here that I'm making
Yeah, I had to do some
my
serious
own
scrambling
sound.
to get some
I'm
more
editing
power.
the synth
My computer was having trouble,
for
so I
this
had to,
particular melody, which is called Uncooperative Celeste, changing it to different frequencies and such. Insanity! And looped a section that I liked. And then I put on the alligator triple filtered gate and tweaked that with the resonant sweep phaser,
and it amazes me how many
which
people
sounds
have not
like
heard of him being a huge world artist that's produced every great record U2 has made.
I like that. Oh, I like it. No, I dig that. That's badass. Well, I'm about a quarter of the way done. Here's my effect and instrument process so far.
That's more like a secret to me, like a treasure.
The process.
If he was like Lady
The
Gaga,
process.
I don't think that would be
The process
He deserves more credit.
is pretty intense.
It's not just like a MIDI guitar.
Getting some weird feedback.
A fair deal of the
As
stems,
you can hear.
probably.
Not quite sure where that's coming
them,
from.
I would say. But not every vocal
Ah,
sub effect.
that's it for now.
Okay, so I'm using the Daniel Lanois voice tracks as a instrument, and I sampled it to the keyboard, and I'm going to play a live voice synth track while I use my left hand to alter the frequency during this.
But there are some
Let's see what happens.
feel if you pay attention. Now, I must have listened to the original 100 times and I still couldn't going on. That's our boy.
Did you say Buddha?
3.5 years old.
He's like, get that drone away from me. Or something that keeps the body from dying, since we've been here for a long time. So it got a little crazy. Okay, now it's getting weird. I think I've made alien contact.
That's some serious oscillation, baby.
Okay, so here I created a totally different audio session. I imported the stems, I'm few days left. The contest. Get nervous. Got a big snowstorm. That's cool. Wow, dude, it's getting nutty in here.
Middle school, the 8th grade dance, I remember hearing that was resonating with in middle school. Love from the 8th grade dance, I remember requesting that song, hearing U2 Pride, the name of love from the Unforgettable Fire, and requesting that song, the same song, and the DJ played it last, probably because I had all my friends, quarters of the crowd, go up and tell the DJ to request the same song. They were expecting it, and probably 3/4 of the crowd was disappointed that that was the last song. They were expecting us to slow dance or something, but with the producer, that song really resonated with me. I didn't find out till much later that Daniel Lanois was the producer to date on that record, and also for the Joshua Tree.
Here I am, because electronic music is a little bit less forgiving.
In my opinion,
I'm cleaning up some of the snare hits that are out of time, because I try to do as much live
I've appreciated his solo album
quantizing and whatnot.
just as much.
What you don't
Just
see in
Shine,
this video is the late
Shine,
nights and the chaos.
Introduced to
I
Daniel
keep on this
Lanois.
board
He gave me a
picture of my grandfather
Shine just at the right time
and
in my life. I mean, that was just at the right time in my life.
concert tickets
What I
in.
needed at that time.
There is Daniel Lanois' autographed ticket from his Toronto Film Festival release of Here Is What Is, the documentary, which was amazing. It's hard to see the autograph here, but it's there. It's been on this board since
Those albums blew me away.
2000. What you don't see in this video is the late nights and the chaos.
We only had 2 days to work together. We sent 300 texts.
Wow, that was an amazing journey, and I am whooped, kids. Oh, I cannot wait. Spend time with my little pooper, Bjorn River, who is 3.5 months old, and I feel like in There Will Be Blood, I've abandoned my son! And I wrote a song for him when he does tummy time. Tummy time, whoa, tummy time, whoa, tummy time, whoa, 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 whoa. I think it's binary in that way. I think it's kind of black and white in that way, where you're either creating or you're destroying something. You're either intentionally creating or you're in the way for someone else. It's like you either assign yourself purpose or the universe assigns purpose to you by default. You might not even know what it is. It might just be a pain in the ass to your family.
Music for Ultras. Yeah, that was an interesting time.
In other words, baby, kiss me.
Don't have any expectations.
Shut the fuck up, man. If I feel of you, some of that
I feel like a dragon kicked the shit out of me. Big ass dragon. Big ass dragon laid on my chest in the middle of the night. And I was singing the blues. My poor mama worked so hard to love me. Woo! My poor mama worked so hard to love me. Woo!
Other losing my sister when I was 19 years old to an accidental heroin overdose, I've lost several good friends along the way. Bird played with me in some shows, so this is dedicated to him and to my good friend who was like a brother, Stefan Nicolo, otherwise known as Chizoo. He helped me form Warm Jets Music. We worked remotely on the internet together, and this song is a song we spent a lot of time on. called Slow Skate in Space.
To play outside this web of madness needs so much time.
It's time to rise and shine already. This isn't a dress rehearsal. Everybody's rapping like it's a commercial, acting like life is a big commercial.
Music's our fucking ultras.
You know, I choose not to conform into the status quo mold. I don't think I ever will, really. I just find more peace and pleasure in a more risky kind of, you know, moment by moment flow. And it's gotten me this far, and my spiritual path has gotten me this far. That's what I give the credit to, my belief in Creator, in the universe, as supporting me and opening doors for me when I serve my core, my inner wellness and health. That's when doors really start to open. work on Sundays. Sundays for rest, family, walking, hiking, chilling. Only schmoozes work on Sundays. Okay, I work on some Sundays.
The truth is, I'm kind of a bimbo. I've always been a bimbo. If it walks like a bimbo, if it acts like a bimbo, and it talks like a bimbo, it's a bimbo! A bimbo!
I'm curious as to what percentage of the things we do are to impress our fathers. Another part of my process has been improvising, which is just making it up as you go along. Most of my songs start off in that way, where I just come up with a riff. Sometimes I'll start with a drum beat, other times a piano piece. I've done songs that lyrically they were done in one take, and I've released them.
There's so much I could say if I only had the words and the strong memory. Some things you can't explain. There's one thing I thought would be.
One project that was all improv was me and my older son Luke's project called Meal, the All-American Father and Son Improv Experience. And we went to like different campsites and cabins and recorded over like a 7-year period from when he was about 12 to about 20 years old. And saved the best material and released an album on it, and I just love that album. It's amazing what can happen in the moment, the magic of the moment. And so you could probably get a better understanding by talking to rappers about it, but it's like the more you let go and just surrender to the flow in the moment, like that's where the magic comes. You just have to take a leap of faith that what you're doing is going to be good in some way. And then it just kind of flows, comes out aesthetically, which, just can blow your mind. So I'm very fond of people that are very good at improvising.
Siamese babies are the way to go. Go to Japan or Taiwan and let me know. I should have ate a candy cane instead of crack. Sugar is the gateway drug. Tack, tack. Eat your brother.
If life were always that way, it would be so magical. If we surrendered in each moment, didn't think about it, we just were in touch with the now. That's where the magic is.
Sitting by the pool with a mustache phone. Another day wasted watching Game of Thrones. Screw the 1%, we got 99. Take it to the plate, man, we ain't got time. Everybody shares, then we all get strong.
think staying busy and being grateful for the time you do have to create on any level is a good thing. Gratitude has always been a huge factor in being grateful for, like I say thank you to the universe like every hour, whenever I can remember to. When I walk, I try to feel my footsteps touching the floor to stay present. You know, spiritually, it's like life can be a chore like that for me, but I'm grateful for that because it's better than feeling like I went into the forest and I didn't bring enough breadcrumbs with me. That's how I felt in the 90s, when I just felt like I got lost.
Now you know how it ends. You always thought I'd walk away. I always knew how it ends. It's shallow, but it's deep. It's dead and alive in the sky.
Up sharp and A sharp.
Dublinish, power plant, guitarish, over like dance, hard into dance. Your song for a dance, you said, like we wanna like lift people up, so we gotta play some dancey shit. So it can be like our rhythm is like almost like a Rainbow Girl, the whole song like this. Hip hop, it can be kind of mix, but you know.
What would I say to aspiring musicians or producers or people interested in licensing their music, being in the film and the sound advertising? If you want to make money at it, then you have to be all in, at least for a bunch of years, and you have to give up things like going out. Well, you have to plan while the other people are playing. To create from your heart instead of your head, because the mind and intellect is endless and the heart is finite and more pure and less complicated. Like, if you're in your head, the possibilities are endless mathematically, infinite. Like, you could come up with, 800 ideas a day, but it's not gonna, it'll be hard to navigate because you're in an infinite space. Whereas if you learn to connect to your heart, then it'll feel right, and you can simplify your life and your creative process that way. So I'm learning to be more heartfelt, present, and stuck in the mind, mate.
Trust me, I'm American.
I'm just a man, have no plan. I like the blues, I like boo.
I post that I'm honored to be part of a new collective of artists and instructors, and I'm offering lessons remotely and at my studio, and I get 6 likes. And the other day I post, does anyone else feel like your head is turning into a block of cheese? And I get 9 likes. That's the problem with this town.
Yeah.
They don't support artists. They don't support each other. It's just
True.
a big laughing stock. Nobody cares.
Bullshit.
I think we tend to follow the praise and the compliments in life. So if you're young and you're playing the piano and your parents or somebody's like, wow, that's really good, then that kind of feeds the desire to keep wanting to do that and impress people. But in the end, you have to really be fulfilled with what you're doing, or it's kind of a waste of time. Are you happy right here and now, or with what you're doing? And that's, if you're not, then why are you doing it? There's a million things you could be doing. One of them will probably bring you joy.
Rock and roll. You have a piano that he's stealing from a cowboy, The UFO is stealing the cowboy's piano in the desert. With planets and shit in the sky. So that may help with the list. Oh man, I'm fucking done. Anyway, yeah. Rock and roll. Are you hearing these? Anyway, which album title do you like the best for my EP? American Shepherd, Spaceship Blues, Dark Country, Automatic West, Western Sigma, Automatic West, Western Automatic Country, Automatic West, Automatic West,
right now in
Western Sigma of the farther
8:30 or 9.
Commonwealth,
If you can make it, I'm not sure.
the teal informant, the teal information, Aladios, which means
If not, maybe tomorrow.
Sonic Treasures Volume
Before the fair.
1, Beans, The Encounter, Band on 4
Right now,
Planets,
it's ideal.
Band in 4 Dimensions, The Obnoxious Silence, Suburban Junkie, or The Not So Great Depression. Keep in mind, the album cover is a picture of a UFO with a ray beam lifting up a piano.
Hi, this is Gary Schlongkinker from Capitol Records. Your limousine is in front. Pack it in there, buddy. Pack it in there.
You have a piano that he's stealing from a cowboy.
Yeah, so.
The UFO is stealing the cowboy's piano.
Rosie, open the door.
Cowboy's piano.
Rosie, open the goddamn door. I want some action tonight. But I don't know how much. I've been going to this high school for 7.5 years. Correct, they base it on song quality and production voice memo found in a music software program. However, me and leave it to me. However, you might want to read up on your homework when you have some spare time and see if I can afford to do that.